Hey guys, it's Will from EDM Tips. Now this week I'm going to show you how to make chords like KSHMR and Tiesto from their track Harder. Now this isn't going to be one of my super polished videos, it's just something someone asked last week, so I said that I would show him how. Thanks for subscribing and let's jump into Ableton Live. Okay, so here I've just looped the chord sequence from the chorus. So the first step is to actually work out which key this track is in. And for all of this music theory work, I actually just like to use a piano sound at first because that allows us not to get distracted by sound design, and a piano is a very easy instrument to work with. So first, let's work out the foundation of the track, which is the bass line. A quick tip is you can use a low-pass filter to filter out the upper frequencies, which is going to make hearing what the actual bass notes are easier. So let's whack that on there. Take it down. Now you might not be able to hear that unless you've got a decent pair of headphones or some good monitors. So top tip, get some decent headphones. Okay, so okay, so that first note is D sharp. So let's just whack that in there. And that plays for 2 bars. And what's the next note? And you can just do it by ear. Okay, so the next note is G. And then the final note of this chord progression is Hey, I never said I was a singer, okay? Right, so there we've got our bass notes. Right, I shall take off that filter from the Ghost track now. Ghost track is what I call any track that I'm working with that isn't actually what I'm producing, like a template, if you will. So now we can work out which key this track is in. Now, most chord progressions in tracks will start on what's known as the root note of the key. And in this case, it's D sharp. So I'm going to draw in all of the notes of D sharp major by counting up intervals. And if you've seen any of my other videos, you will know about the intervals in between the notes for each key. And let's just press the fold button in Ableton Live. And we can see that all of these bass notes are falling in that template. See, there are no gaps there. If there was a bass note there, I could see from this gap here that it wasn't in the key of D sharp major. It would be most likely in the key of D sharp minor. But anyway, I move it back and we can now see that this song is in the key of D sharp major, which makes it much easier to work out the chords because we've got this kind of marimba stab sound. If you listen to the Ghost track. So that is the next part, is to work out those sounds. So I'm going to do that in the piano as well. First I'm going to make a template of the key of D sharp major. I'm going to make a couple of octaves of it. So when we press fold, we know that all of the notes that are showing are in the key of D sharp major. There we go. Now we have 4 octaves of D sharp major to work with. We've got our bass notes. Let's drop them down an octave so they're properly bassy. Do, 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 do. And this marimba sound that KSHMR has used, or it may have been Tiesto, sorry guys, don't mean to piss either of you off. That is what's known as a syncopated rhythm. So it's rolling along and it's not hitting on the beat. It's a dum 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 dum. So first I'm just going to draw in the rhythm of that because it's simpler. And I'll do that on the root note, but an octave higher than the bass line. And I think in the third bar, it actually goes to 4 beats away from that syncopated rhythm. So then it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the last bar, I will go back to that syncopated rhythm. Right, so now we've got the rhythm of the marimba stabs. Now we need to work out, obviously, the notes of them. So first we'll draw in the most prominent notes of those chords. So if we listen to it. Now obviously there's no point just copying someone's tune for the sake of it. So we're doing this just to learn the music theory behind it and why they've done what they've done. So you can see, because we're using this template of the key of D sharp major, it's easy. We don't even need to worry about hitting the wrong notes, because we've only exposed, using this fold button in Ableton, the notes that are in the correct key. Okay, so now we need to get the harmony notes to these chords. And if you've seen any of my other videos on chords and chord progressions, you know that you can just skip the note above and then do the third or the fifth above that. And you can do it downwards as well, if you're using this template idea. Now it sounds like each of those marimba stabs are actually just hitting 2 notes rather than a triad, which is 3 notes. So let's listen to the piano. And you can see here that actually the A is a fifth above the D sharp, which is the root note. And if you're using the Roman numeral technique to work out which chords these are, the first 2 chords are the 1 chord in the Roman numeral system. The second chord is the third, because you can see it is using the third note of the key of D sharp major. And the fourth chord in the sequence is the second if you're using Roman numerals. So you've got a major first, a major third, and then a major second, which is actually a very common chord progression. Let's just match that rhythm up there. And take that sound up. Now we're going to be putting in the correct sounds shortly, but as I've said before, I just want to work with the piano sound at first, just so we can see the theory behind it, and that they are all in the key of D sharp major. Let's listen to that compared to the Ghost track. Lovely jubbly. Okay, now we will do that vocal riff that's going da, 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 da. But first we are going to do it in a piano again for the same reason. I won't keep going on about it. So let's get that rhythm of the melody in first before we worry about the notes. Now it's do, 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 do. Copy and paste that. And that is the rhythm of that vocal melody line. There was a note there I missed. Okay, so now we work out the notes of that, and they're all in the key of D sharp major, which makes it lovely and easy. I'm just going to add another octave of our template. And now we work out the notes. Okay, so now we have every musical element that we need for this track. So the next stage is making the sounds. Right, I've got my drum loop. So first thing is get those bass notes in. So we go into the piano, just copy and paste those bass notes and stick them in here. Now this is one I made earlier, same bass notes, and I just loaded up a silent one, but it doesn't matter. You can use any native synth in your DAW for this, but it's just a sine wave and then a sine wave again an octave above to give it what's known as harmonics. Again, you might need some decent headphones to hear this because it's quite subby. Okay, next is the chords, which we need a marimba sound for. So that would be a sound like this. So all we do is now copy the chord notes like so. Copy them, and then we paste them into our marimba sound. Here's one I made earlier. And I added some ping pong delay here on the auxiliary channel. Top tip there. If you listen to this track, there's quite a lot going on in the upper ranges of that riff. So what I've done is I've replicated the rhythm of this marimba chord sequence and then rolled off the low end, so it's just the high stuff, put some reverb on there, and that's just to give it more character, to give that sound a bit more presence. And the last thing is the vocal riff. And what I've done for this doesn't sound like theirs particularly, but I found an old vocal sample I've got. I just had on my hard drive somewhere. I think it was an old rave sample or something like that. And all I did was copy the piano riff here from the top bit that we just did last. Copied that and stuck it in my vocal sound, and then just tuned it to make sure the vocal was hitting the right notes. So now we've got this. Added some ping pong delay on the aux channel, a bit of reverb on the aux channel. So we've got our bass, we've got our chords, we've got our presence, we've got our riff, and we got our drum loop. And this is the final result. Not perfect, of course, but hopefully you can understand the theory behind it and how these guys built this tune from the ground up. Now, if you like this video, thanks for subscribing. Don't forget to share it with your mates. And if you want to know how to take a loop like this, a 4 or 8 bar loop, into a fully finished track that's guaranteed to smash the dance floor, you can click the link below now and you can download my free EDM speed writing cheat sheet. I think you're going to like it. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.